Guys, welcome to Ivy League Learning. I'm Judy Thompson. I work for Ava as well as my friend here, Tony. We are the Ava Education Department, joined by our esteemed editor-in-chief wearing glasses. And tonight, Ivy League Learning, we're going to hear from our good friend and editor-in-chief, Dr. Mickey Hawes. But before we get going, I'm going to turn it over to the chairwoman extraordinaire, Dr. Kristen Jacobs, who is also on Ava's board of directors. So thanks for being here, everybody.
Well, I don't know if I needed all of that, Judy, because but
I think
thanks
you do.
everybody. So I'm seeing all my people here. I have some Floridians. But good evening to everyone. Tonight, we're going to be talking about case stories and formal case studies with Mickey Hawes. And Mickey has worn many hats with Ava, and we love Mickey. She is the editor-in-chief of JAVA. She works on the clinical practice guideline committee, and she's also president of the foundation. Just a couple little jobs, nothing big. So welcome to Mickey, and I'll turn it over to you.
All right. So you guys showed up and you don't even know what we're going to be talking about unless I don't know, actually don't know what information is out there. So ooh, what a cool ceiling. Okay. I'm going to attempt to share my screen and do some things. I sort of practiced this, but you know, technology, who can know it? Permanently.
You're so close, Mick. You almost got it.
We were almost there. Okay, I'm going to hit this button.
All right, and then go up to display settings at the top.
Oh, wait. Am I not filling you with confidence here?
Per normal.
I'm the editor-in-chief of JAVA.
There you go. You got it.
Luckily, I don't have to have these skills for that. So basically, I'm going to talk about publishing and that fact that you can do it. And it can be kind of scary for some people, but there's a few different ways through Ava that you could publish and share your knowledge with other people. So that's what we're going to talk about. So here are the objectives. In 15 minutes, we'll do 5 of them. But basically, I'm going to tell you about our peer-reviewed journal, JAVA, and our newsletter, IQ, and ways that you could attack either one of those and maybe get your name out there and tell us your stories. Okay, I'm going to read those to you. Okay, IQ, intravascular corollary. I called it IVQ for the longest time until they put me in charge and I realized it was IQ. It's a newsletter. It is peer-reviewed by me, so peer-reviewed by one, not the same level of an actual peer-reviewed journal. These are the submission dates. If you go to the AVA website and you hit publication, then you'll have a window and you pick IQ, and IQ will be there. It has the same dates. Obviously, you can't make the February issue, but the May issue is coming up. And it's beyond acute care. Doesn't mean that if you have an article about something else that it won't get in there, but I've asked the Beyond Acute Care special interest group to give me a bunch of articles about life beyond the walls of a hospital. Again, if you have something to say and you want to get it in by May 1st, we can do that. And there's going to be ways to get a hold of me. August theme is basically PIVCs. And then November is kind of CVADs, anything to do with those. And again, doesn't mean I'm not going to put other stuff in there. It's just what I'm trying to encourage people to think about and write about. Of course, the newsletter also has network news. It has updates on where we are in the clinical practice guidelines. It may have stories from patients, all kinds of things. But that's our newsletter. That's a little bit different. when you submit, what I noticed today when I went on the site is it talks about all those dates, but it doesn't really give you a way to submit it that I could find. So what you really need to do once you write something up is send it to javaeditor@avainfo.org. And in the subject line, if you could put IQ submission, that would be great, because I get a whole bunch of stuff into that email. And that way I know that this is an IQ article. It's written in first person. It's you and me talking. Hey, this is something I found at my hospital. This is what we did. This was the outcome. Or you could interview a patient about their experience. You could we've had people interview nursing students about their world and what it's like for them to deal with vascular access from student point of view. 750 to 1250, that's not a law, that's a suggestion. I don't really want to go much over 1250, but if you have less to say, that's okay too. Depending on the kind of article, if you want to put some references in there, that would be great. They have to be in AMA format. Don't let that freak you out. If you don't have a very handy dandy AMA format sitting in by your desk, then go to the back of Java, and that'll give you a bunch of examples on how to do it in AMA format and how to put journal articles in there and stuff. And then, of course, don't forget, email the javaeditor@avainfo.org with any questions. I will answer them. I will be happy to help you out. Don't let it freak you out. So that's IQ. We're going to talk a little bit more about ways to get into IQ later, but I also want to talk about Java. It's Ava's journal, so it's Java, and you will hear me mispronounce it, and I'm sorry. I've said Java for 20 years, so even though I'm the editor, I still mess it up, but it's Java. It's a peer-reviewed journal, and that's a little bit different. That's a much higher level of writing, and don't be scared. There's help. We can get you mentors. I'm going to show you a great way to get to checklists. I'm a big checklist person. But speaking of which, if you go to the AVA website to publications and you go to Java, you scroll down to Java, it'll open up several options. How to submit is in there. So you hit that, and it's going to give you, or it'll say information for authors. Now I can't remember. Information for authors. And that will tell you about different types of articles, like original research, or they might have case studies in there. It's something I need to work on to make it a little bit easier for authors, because way at the bottom of all these options is the author checklist, which in my opinion is the most important part. And when people send in their articles to Java, I often have to send them back to them and say, they always forget line numbers and whatnot. So that should be up a little bit higher, and that's something I'll be working on. Don't let it freak you out. Because in addition, as you heard, to my many, many hats, I'm also the president currently of the foundation. And the foundation, one of our goals is to help you write or start research or do a poster for the first time, or maybe a presentation. Wherever you are in your vascular access journey, you have knowledge, and we would appreciate it if you shared that. Or maybe you just need some help on how to set up a study. All of those things, the foundation wants to be there to help you with that. And that's free of charge for members. And we will give you whatever information we can to help you move down the road just a little bit farther. You can, if you want mentoring, go to the AVA Foundation at avainfo.org. And Java editor would probably work either way, because you know what, both of them are me right now, but not always. Next year it's going to be somebody else for the president. All right, so that's Java, it's peer-reviewed journal. Now, when I go to write something, I like a checklist, as I've mentioned. And when people call me or they email me and they want help, oh, we're going to do a retrospective study, or we want to do a an RCT. Oh, I love RCTs. Or a case study, I will send them to this website. It's Equator Reporting Guidelines, and I'm going to pull it up here by the grace of God, and we'll walk through it. So here we go. I'm going to move that over there. Oh my gosh. Hopefully you're seeing the right screen. Anyone? Can I have an amen? Okay. No amens? All right. No, I might be talking to myself. What do I?
Amen.
Okay,
Amen.
thank you.
Amen, Mickey.
All right. So Equator Network is basically a repository for all of the checklists, and many journals that I've written to actually require you to fill out this checklist. So what am I talking about? So let's talk about case studies for a peer-reviewed journal. The level is a lot higher than what I'm going to talk about in a little bit for IQ. So I go over here. Look, we got a randomized, obviously they're not from the US, randomized trials.
Hey, Mickey,
Yeah.
are you showing us a website right now?
Yes.
I do not see a website.
What happened to my amens? Do you see my little cursor going around and around?
No, I'm wondering
Back
if
on,
you
yeah,
need to
click back on the
reshare.
link.
What?
Click back on
Just shared your PowerPoint instead of your whole screen. So if you unshare and then reshare your whole screen, we should be able to see everything.
And Judy, we need to mute somebody.
Got it.
Got it. On it. Thank you.
Yep. That looks good.
Okay. Well, why did this work in practice? I don't know. Anyway, that's okay. So you go here, and if you wanted to do a case report, okay. Now this is for the peer-reviewed journal. Then you'd hit case report, and I've already done that. So here we are. And we've got the CARE checklist, and CARE stands for, it's up here somewhere. Case report. No. Okay. I forgot. All right, so this is the checklist that you're going to get when you go to that site. Whoop, sorry. Because you got it kind of over there. You're going to fill it out, and like I said, some journals require that you actually put the line where you've answered these questions. The main symptom, the important clinical findings. I mean, it just walks you right through what you need to do in order to send in a case report to a peer-reviewed journal. All right. Any questions? You got, I don't mind if you guys talk, but I'm not sure how that happens because you're all muted by somebody else. All right.
No, everybody can unmute if they chose to.
Okay.
We just,
Okay.
there's background noise for everybody. So we just
Okay.
try to keep it quiet.
Okay, cool. So if you're doing an observational study, like a retrospective study, you would pull this up, hit strobe, buffering, and here's a checklist. Gotta love our checklists, and it'll walk you right through. Let me see, I'll hit the PDF. All right, so title and abstract, introduction, methods, everything is right there for you. And the different kinds of cohort studies and cross-sectional and everything. All right, this is also handy to use. Okay, screen has stopped. Oop, I hit the button wrong. So share screen. Now I need to go back here. No. Yes. Sorry. Dang it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost there. Yes, ma'am.
But okay.
Just
Why-
go to your slide, Mickey, whatever it is. There you
there
go.
we are. Whew. But my cursor kind of went away, so I couldn't see what I was poking at. All right. Totally forgot what I was talking about. This is just from the slideshow, just in case it didn't work, I was going to show you this stuff, but everything you need is basically there. And if you're starting a research study, or you're starting, I think it was Linda and I were talking about her previous research, this is what I would send them to. I would tell them you need to use the strobe checklist. You need to use Squire for quality improvement studies. Hers would be a quality improvement study that we were just talking about. So then you would go to the Squire guidelines down here. Okay. That's for peer-reviewed journals. Now, okay. What I did for IQ to try to help people who or just think what I just said is impossible and they will never be able to do it is I still want to hear about what's going on in your world and cool things you've done or really great outcomes or even the really bad outcomes and why they were bad outcomes. And so I built case stories, a lower level of information, but still very systematic. Okay. Case stories are going to be about 250 to 750 words. If you need references, which you might not need, no more than 5, AMA format again. It has to be non-branded, okay, and de-identified. I don't want to know too much about the patient so that I somehow could figure out who that patient is. You must include your name, but do not mention your specific hospital. That way, you know, we're not going to screw up some HIPAA violation. This is sort of generalized information. You could say a rural hospital in the Midwest or a teaching hospital in Canada. Okay, it's just, I don't want to know the specific hospital. I don't want to get you in trouble with this. You can leave your contact email, but it cannot be your hospital email because then, I mean, come on. So if you have a Gmail account or something like that, that's what we would want. To make it really slick for you, Judy and Tanya, I believe, built the JOT form out of the example that I gave. So I'm going to attempt again to share. Let me see. First, I'm going to go here. Here. All right. So this is how you get to the JOT form. There's a QR code there. I haven't really figured out how to find it on the AVA website yet, but that's on my list for tomorrow. Well, did I hear someone? Okay. So I'm going to attempt to bring this over now, and you guys have to tell me whether it actually worked. All right. Do you see the case stories form?
Sure do.
So exciting. All right. So when you go to that
Oh,
form,
I'm sorry, Mickey. I misunderstood you. We're looking at the QR code right now.
okay, no, that's not what I want. So let me see. I have to stop sharing, and then I have to share again.
There you go.
I'm getting faster at it. That's something. All right, so this is the JOT form. So you don't even have to sit down at your computer and write me up a beautiful story. You know, you just have to fill in these blanks. So let's say that you have a really interesting case. You know, very few of our patients are textbook patients. It could be about a PIV, it could be about a PIC, it could be about anything. But this is how you would walk through it. So if you've heard of SBAR, I just kind of used SBAR and added a few things. But basically, what's the situation here? And again, contact me at javaeditor@avainfo.org. The situation, what are the basics? And I did an example here. 48-year-old male with history of injectable drug use requires 6 weeks of intravenous antibiotics. That's a situation. Well, I'm not going to have an amen because you're all muted. And then the background. You're just going to start typing. What do you know about this situation? The objective information, the facts. Okay, just the facts. The patient is diagnosed with patient, you know, and you're just going to start filling this in. And that's how simple it is. And I even have my Grammarly seeing what I did there. For this one, the patient is diagnosed with osteomyelitis, post-right knee replacement, the order of discharge, all of this supposed to have new IV every day for 6 weeks. On a person with a history of injectable drug use, probably not going to happen. So what is the problem? What's the subjective issue here? The patient has been sober off of injectable drugs for 2 years, good family support, mental health assistance. And we want to punish the patient with the unrealistic and unethical repeated venipunctures. So that's our assessment of what's messed up in this situation. Why is this different than every other line we put in? Then the intervention. What did you do with the situation you were given? How did you collaborate with other team members, with physicians, with the nurses on the floor, with the patient, with the family? What did you do to try to solve this problem? And then what was the outcome? For this was kind of a real situation. I changed a few things. The patient successfully finishes the antibiotics, no evidence of tampering device, all of that. And then the conclusion. What now? Now that you've had this situation, you did this intervention, collaboration, you've had this outcome, what are you going to do with that? In this case, we actually started a program at our hospital to help patients with injectable drug use. And so you can see how just filling this in can share a unique situation that you've had at your hospital with people all around the world, actually, but whoever gets IQ. And that's not just AVA members. The first issue that comes out in the first quarter when IQ comes out, so say the February one that's currently up, is available to multiple organizations. And then when it's archived, it's only available to our members. So the word can really get out there for a story that you have, that you're sitting on, where I've had patients with just incredible contractures, and I'm supposed to put a line in them, and I can't abduct their arm at all. So those kind of situations and how you handle them could help other patients, could help your colleagues, and it gets you started on that path to boy, I didn't have any trouble filling 15 minutes. Okay, get you on that path to being published and getting your name out there. All right, I better get going here. I'm talking too much. I really like what I do. I don't know if you could tell. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Well, I'm becoming a whiz at sharing my screen. No, how exciting. So hopefully you see the QR code up there again. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that's there. I'm going to work on trying to get this onto the IQ site if it's not already there, so that you can just go to AVA, then to IQ, and you can fill in a case story. All right. Next, click, go forward. Aha. And that's just the example that was actually in IQ last time, which is just exactly what we went over. Thanks to Judy and Tanya, they made it into a jot form so that it's easy to fill out. And then you hit submit on that, and I get it, and you are done. Congratulations. So to sum it up and to answer all the questions or all the objectives that we had in the beginning, JAVA is AVA's peer-reviewed journal. IQ is AVA's newsletter. Equator.com is an excellent source for reporting guidelines. And before you even start your research, sometimes it's good to look at that, because you're going to want to publish your research. And so you want to make sure that during that you get all of those things answered. So then you're not done with your research and go, oh, we forgot to do this. So it's a good place to start. And did that. And then case stories are informal way to share your knowledge, and opportunities to publish your work. I can't remember what it are available at AVA. Obviously, IQ, JAVA, the AVA Foundation can help you. I can help you. We're here to help. All right. Okay, one more slide. All right. Any questions? No. Okay, good. So just contact me. If you haven't heard it before, JAVA editor at avainfo.org. Go team.
Woo! This is such important work.
What?
When we start breaking into questions, I'm going to go ahead and put up a poll for anybody to just kind of answer as we're talking.
Perfect. So Mickey, what do you see the biggest problem or the biggest concern people have when they're trying to get published the first time? Or what's the biggest?
They've never done it before. They think it's for Dr. Jacobs only. To do, you know, big things, you have to have doctor in front of your name. Or you know, I don't care if you have nothing behind your name. If you're a student, you can publish in IQ. If you can tell us a story about what it's like to be a student, and learning vascular access, good, bad, or otherwise. Or hey, maybe you've gone through the IB course thing. What is
The
that?
PIV curriculum?
There you go. I'll act it out. IB, yeah.
I like that. I like that. Curriculum.
And how did that go for you? We'd love to have a story about the positives of that. But the biggest thing is fear. And I say the other thing is I'm too busy.
Okay.
That's, you know, that's a big thing. I will have the same conversation this year with people who say, oh, I really want to publish something, and I'll give them all the options. And then I'll see them in Denver and I'll say, how'd that go? Oh, I really want to publish something. And, you know, being a mentor, my biggest job is one, to point them in the right direction, get them their checklist, and then give them deadlines, because you have to treat it kind of like, if you remember when you were in school, that if I had a paper due, I could get that paper done. But if I have no deadline, it's always going to fall to the bottom of my list. It's always going to be the last thing I work on, is that publication I want to work. It's not going to happen unless you have somebody saying, okay, I want to see your outline by this date. I want to, you know, see this now. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, you're good.
I love what I do.
Another thing for this upcoming IQ also, this one's about beyond acute care, isn't it, Mickey?
Yeah.
And we're talking about patient stories and tips for patients outside of the hospital. So things
Yeah,
like that as well. If you have a patient story because you are a patient as well as a care provider, that's also something people want to hear.
what were some of them, Tony? There was one person was going to go into what it's like to shower, you know, ideas that they give patients on how to shower, and being able to share that information, so that if you're a person who's placing the lines in the hospital, you actually have some good information that you can give the patient. Say, you know, this was written up in our newsletter, and you can say, you know, I personally have never had to help a patient with this, but here's people who live with this and deal with it. These are their ideas. So can't remember the other things.
I think this is so important, Mickey.
I'm taking down all these names, and I expect to see at least a case story from y'all. Can any of you think of a case that you may want to share? Because I know you never see any interesting patients, right?
Well,
Judy's
I
I'm
think
talking
that's
to
what-
myself. Yeah, kind of. After I've said like 3 times, I'm just talking to myself here in my house. Linda is talking about the PIV curriculum, or asking about it. So the PIV curriculum is a 4 course curriculum that Ava created with through grant funding and through the support from BBRON. And we give it to any university, any healthcare school. It doesn't, college, university, trade school. All they have to do is sign an agreement that they're not going to go change it on their behalf. We also, if the school signs up, and it has to be a school, I'm sorry, we can't give it to universities. We can't give it to people. We can only give it to universities. But all the students and the faculty that are in that school also get a free membership to AVA while they're in the curriculum. So it's a pretty cool deal. And we have, Tony, how many schools do we have right now? 29?
I think we hit 29. Yeah.
We got a new one today or yesterday. So I know.
Right?
I was
Remove
thinking about it last night.
They're pondering, so I'm pushing it.
So if you want more information, Linda, or you have your alma mater, you have somewhere you're going to be going, Any of the above. Let me know, or myself or Tony, we'll do everything we can to help you along that way. And
I teach
then,
clinical some, so that may be something that I could help kind of push towards them. So I
that'd be
I
fun.
just wasn't sure what it was. So
There's no cost ever. That's the part that we try to get past to everybody. They're going, okay, what's the catch? There's really no catch.
awesome.
I
Perfect.
think
You know,
it's
Because
don't
they
worry
have a
important
about it.
where
kid with an abdominal pic.
we have to share information, you know? I think that's, if we don't talk about things and, we all don't operate in a little bubble, we can share information across the country. And I think these case studies would be very valuable that way.
I mean, it's what we
Great.
do when we go to conference, right? We all network with each other and talk about all the weird things that we've dealt with through the year. And it doesn't have to be the positive only. You could have a situation where you were, requested to do a pick on a patient, and you assessed and said, this patient would be better off with XYZ, and collaborated with people, and they chose to do the wrong thing anyway. You didn't, but they got somebody else to do it. I'm sure that never happens. And it was a miserable failure. And that's information. It's like, this is, these are the guidelines, these are the standards, this is what we told you. And it didn't work. Something that comes to mind for me was I had so many working with the cancer center. They wouldn't get blood return out of the port. And the doctor said, use it anyway. And I said, no, no, you can come use it, but our license says we can't. And people would do it anyway. And, luckily we didn't have any really obvious bad things happen. But if something bad would have happened and all of that other work was there and the collaboration, and they chose to do the wrong thing anyway, then the outcome is bad, and the conclusion is we need to pay attention to the standards and the guidelines. So I don't enjoy talking at all. Sorry.
And the
sit in my
standards
desk.
and the
This is my-
guidelines, which are written based on the studies that are done by people like us.
Yes.
Right. Ike, I think you're writing about a hospital I used to work at has a 3-day IV policy. And,
Oh.
it unpopular stand, but for some hospitals, it's the appropriate thing. So going to clinically indicated PIVs is only okay if you've trained the entire hospital on assessment, care, and maintenance. And I think, unfortunately, it's gotten to be such a big thing across the country that people think that's really the guidance, the law of the land, that we should go to clinically indicated removal. And I'm of the stand, and I believe the standard support that if you don't train everybody appropriately, you should stick to a time. Oh, not in peds. You're right. Different story.
Not in peds.
But I think if you look at Shelley DeVries's work, it's the work she did pre making that changeover to really catalyze all this work across the nation. She did a lot of work to make sure that the outcomes were good. And I know I talked to a good friend of ours, Sean Lau. I don't believe they're clinically indicated yet because they haven't gotten across the whole hospital yet. I may be wrong on that, but I don't think so. So it's not a bad thing if you don't go clinically indicated yet. It might even be prudent. Boy, it seems really like a cold statement right now.
That was a turn, Judy.
Okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm sorry. Somebody debate me. Somebody write something to IQ and say, no, I disagree with Judy. I would love
Or
that.
Judy, write that up in IQ. Why clinically, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not for everybody if we haven't trained them.
Yeah, if clinically indicated is we take it out when it's really bad instead of just bad, then that's
If it's purulent drainage and bleeding, yeah, but no,
Yeah.
there's more
It's-
to it than just flipping the switch.
Which is the exact reason we need to get PIV curriculum into all the schools so that the nurses coming out and going into the world can teach everyone else and start
Tony,
doing
you're
the
so,
right thing.
you're so good. Well, guys, I think we have taken up part of your evening. We want to thank you so much for spending time with us. Bring a friend, you know, that maybe there's a party, a little prize next week. We don't give away anything significant, but we'll see you in 2 weeks. I don't know who's speaking in 2 weeks. Is it me?
Yes, it is you.
Oh,
As a
okay,
matter
then
of fact.
I'll be here. I will see you. I'll be here. Bring a friend. We're going
Thanks,
to talk
Judy.
about some recent journals, some articles that have been published that I found really interesting. So, Journal Club. See you
Journal
guys then.
Club, 2 weeks.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
you.
Thank you.